The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the August 5th City Council meeting of Neenah. We'll have the clerk do the roll call.
Council President Steiner is excused, along with Alderman Bruno. Alderman Erickson.
Here.
Linsky.
Here.
Defferdine.
Present.
Newman.
Here.
Pownall.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
And Weber.
Here.
All right, Alderman Ellis, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, Mayor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Before we jump into things, obviously I want to give just a quick statement, and then we'll reach to our first item up here to discuss the proclamation of the local state emergency. But I want to take a few moments to address the storm that struck the area on July 26th and everything that's kind of happened since. The past week has challenged our communities in ways that we could never have imagined. First and foremost, our thoughts remain with every individual family whose home, property, business, or sense of security was affected. While the extent of the damage differs from neighbor to neighborhood, the community to different communities, every loss is personal. We recognize that many people are still facing difficult days and long roads towards recovery. I also want to express a sincere gratitude to the people who immediately stepped forward to help. Our city staff responded with professionalism, compassion, and extraordinary commitment to serving others. Many worked long hours under difficult conditions. They cleared streets, secured damaged areas, checked on residents, restored services, collected debris, coordinated donations, communicated changing information and challenging information, and helped neighboring communities that were facing even greater challenges. I'm incredibly proud of our city staff. Each department responded to its immediate responsibilities while also asking a very important question: where else can I help? The spear extended far beyond the city. Neighbors checked on neighbors, residents opened up their homes, volunteers brought equipment, food, water, and supplies. Restaurants and businesses supplied hot meals to workers and residents. People who had never met before worked side by side because someone needed help. I always talk about Mr. Rogers famously encouraged people during frightening times to look for the helpers. Over the last week or so, we have seen helpers everywhere. I also want to recognize Council President Steiner. While I was returning home from an overseas trip, Dan stepped in forward to provide steady leadership on behalf of the city. He worked closely with our staff, represented Neenah publicly, and helped ensure the decisions and communications continued without interruption. Dan, thank you for answering the call and serving our community when I needed you. I wanted to extend a thank you to Gordon Hintz and the Winnebago County Emergency Response Team for the collective efforts to get information out to help those effectively and quickly. Also, thank you to Representative Dean Coffert and Senator Dassler Elfheim for your leadership and support during this time. We'd also like to extend our thank yous to our neighbors in Menasha. There we go, Mayor Hammond, thank you so much for your support at this time and keeping us up to date. Also, Fox Crossing, and then also at the town of Neenah, thank you for your support and information. And also Mayor Jake Woodford, excuse me. Our response is now moving from the immediate emergency towards recovery. Debris removal, utility restoration, property cleanup, damaged tree assessment, garbage collecting, traffic management, and assistance of affected residents will continue. We also need carefully to review what worked, where gaps existed, and how we can strengthen our emergency planning and regional coordination before the next crisis occurs. We'll continue working with Menasha, Fox Crossing, Winnebago County, and the other regional partners. Municipality boundaries don't matter when a storm arrived, and they shouldn't prevent us from helping one another during the recovery. There is still considerable work ahead, but the response of our employees, residents, businesses, volunteers, faith-based organizations, and community partners shall give us all confidence. Neenah has shown that we are a community that responds with compassion, works together, and steps forward when our neighbors need us. To everyone who has helped and to everyone who continues to help, thank you. All right. We're going to move on to the proclamation of emergency. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to bring this to the floor.
So move.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Mayor Borchard recommends the Common Council ratify the proclamation declaration declaring the local state of emergency with the city of Neenah regarding the tornado on Monday, July 27th, 2026. All right. Whereas Section 323.11 of the Wisconsin statute authorizes the governing body of local unit of government to declare by ordinance or resolution that an emergency exists whenever conditions arise by reason of disaster or the imminent threat of disaster that impairs transportation, food, supplies, medical care, fire, health, and police protection, or other critical systems in the local unit of government. And whereas Section 321.14, Section 4 of the Wisconsin statute confers upon the governing body during such an emergency the general authority to order whatever is necessary to expedite for the health, safety, protection, and welfare of persons and property within the city. And whereas on July 27, 2026, a tornado struck the city of Neenah and surrounding communities, causing structural damage to buildings, downed trees, power lines, and disruptions of utility service and roadways. Whereas this event has impaired transportation, utility services, and delivery of emergency services within the city, satisfying the conditions set forth in Section 323.11 of the Wisconsin statutes. And whereas the neighboring city of Menasha and the village of Foss Crossing have sustained more significant damage and coordinated regional response and mutual aid are warranted. And whereas the mayor being absent from the city, Council President Dan Steiner was serving as acting mayor pursuant to the Neenah Municipal Code, Chapter 2.2, Section 222, Section F, and applicable law. And whereas the acting mayor finds the declaring a local state of emergency is necessary to protect public health and safety, to authorize emergency expenditures and procurement, to enable the deployment of city resources and the provisions of mutual aid, and to document the response costs and damages for potential state and federal assistance. Now, therefore, as proclaimed by the acting mayor of the city of Neenah, Winnebago County, Wisconsin, as follows. Section 1, declaration. A local state of emergency is hereby declared to exist within the corporate limits of the city of Neenah as a result of the event described above. Section 2, effective time and scope. The declaration is effective as of 5:30 p.m. on July 27, 2026, and applies to the corporate limits of the city of Neenah. Section 3, emergency powers. During the period of this emergency, the city may exercise all powers conferred under Section 323.14, Section 4 of Wisconsin statutes, including but not limited to the authority to bar, restrict, remove unnecessary vehicular and pedestrian traffic from public ways, to restrict access to affected areas, and to take such other actions as necessary for the expedient of protection of the persons and property. Section 4, authorizations to act. The acting mayor and the city's director of emergency government are authorized to take actions reasonable and necessary to respond to the emergency, including the emergency procurement of goods, equipment, services, without regard to standard bidding and purchasing procedures, and the authorization of necessary overtime and personal deployment. Emergency expenditures shall be documented and reported to Common Council. Section 5, mutual aid. The acting mayor and the appropriate city officials are authorized to request, provide, and coordinate mutual aid, including under the Wisconsin Interstate Mutual Aid System, and to render assistance to the city of Menasha, the village of Fox Crossing, and other affected jurisdictions. Now, Section 6, coordination. City officials shall coordinate in the city's response with Winnebago County Emergency Management and Wisconsin Emergency Management, and shall provide damage and cost information as requested to support any local, state, and federal assistance program. Section 7, documentation. City staff shall document all responses and recovery cost, damage to public and private property, and resources provided and received in the form of settle and submission from state and federal disaster assistance. Section 8, duration and termination. This local state of emergency shall remain into effect until terminated or extended by action of the acting mayor. The acting mayor shall recommend termination when emergency conditions no longer warrant this continuation. Section 9, ratification. To the extent the acting mayor issued the proclamation declaring this emergency pursuant to Section 323.14, subsection 4, subsection B, Wisconsin states, all actions under therefore are hereby ratified and confirmed. Section 10, effective date. This resolution shall take place immediately. Adopted this day, 27th of July, 2026. Any discussion? Seeing none, please indicate your vote on your voting device. All right, we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, passes 7-0. All right. And again, just a little jog here. I want to make sure we have the opportunity to hear from our department heads that have some reports and kind of to report out on where we are as a state or the city of Neenah is currently. And so I'm going to call you up one by one and maybe give us an opportunity to share with council and those in attendance of where we're at. So we'll begin with Chief Tesh, if it's possible.
Thank you. I got a little over report tonight, so bear with me while I plug this in and we'll get going. Hey, look at that. So the tornado event, right? I know people here were affected. This will be just kind of a brief overview on the emergency response and how it started. So, excuse me. So the call came in right away. I don't know how, but nobody was killed. People were injured. People were taken to the hospital, but nobody was killed. And if that's through just luck because time of the day when this happened, or because the tornado siren's going off, or because most people have a phone, and they got to shelter, for whatever that's worth. Our response started right away, and we used our mutual aid resources. There was over 70 different fire apparatus in the cities helping us out. We started with a primary search of every house. We made a grid, started going places just real quick. Is anybody trapped? Is anybody injured? That took us till about midnight. This happened at noon. Around midnight, our primary search was completed, and right away we started into a secondary search where we took a little thorough look, looking for anybody hurt, trapped. Also at this time, we could shut off gas meters, see if we needed to have power come and disconnect, utilities, taking care of those kind of things. So that was our response in the second wave, and that lasted to about 4 p.m. on Tuesday when we gave an all clear on our secondary search. And then our partners, we canceled the box alarm and our partners could go home. But we had people from as far south as Fox Lake in southwestern Dodge County, as far north as the city of Marinette, and over to the lake shore coming to our area to help us. So then we started with damage assessment through Wisconsin Emergency Management. These numbers aren't official, right? These numbers are just from Sunday night. Monday and today we did not do any assessments. We had to stop because we got to the part where the severe damage has occurred. So that's about 4th Street, 3rd Street down to the water in Menasha, and then picking up again on this side of the island to about Nicolay Boulevard. But across from Fox Lake down to the town of Neenah, or Fox Crossing down to the town of Neenah, 1,600 structures have been assessed, and they're all graded on that destroyed, major, minor, affected. And I can tell you those numbers are moving, right? At one point, there's like a whole bunch, thousands that are affected, and they get reviewed, and they can change from there. So numbers are not final, and they will not be for a long time. So just bear with us as we try to go through and take care of that. But this is what will help us with federal disaster funding and state aid funding. This is different than what our building, community development, and our building inspectors will do. These assessments are just for Wisconsin Emergency Management. And then I just want to leave with this. We're in the recovery phase now. The recovery phase has started, and this is going to be a long time. And we're going to meet people, and people in this room are going to need help, and they call 211 to get that help. You call 211, you'll speak to somebody, and they'll ask you questions. What do you need help with? Is it food security? Is it shelter? Is it clothing? Is it mental health? And they'll take your information, and then they'll find if it's something with rent, they'll find somebody that can help you, and they'll call you back, right? If it's mental health, they'll have somebody from that area call you back. If it's help filling out insurance forms, they'll connect you with the right people. So this is how we're going to connect people with what they need. It's through 211. So please, if you hear somebody asking for help some way or they're not sure where to go, direct them to this 211. So that's all I have for right now.
Chief, I just want to extend a grateful thankful to you managing in this crisis with 2 communities. Your head's been on a swivel and sleepless nights. And just know that we all appreciate the work and effort you've been doing. It's got to be very difficult managing those things with your team, and has done a phenomenal job.
Thank you. It's a great.
If you haven't noticed or known, our longtime Director of Public Works, Jerry Kaiser, retired on Monday. So talk about going out with a lot of craziness. So in the interim, we hired Mark Roloff, who is now the Assistant Director of Public, or the interim Director of Public Works. Director Roloff, if you have an update, and then also Superintendent Byer is in the audience there as well. If you wish to have a few words too, it might be great. 2, again, instrumental people in what has been transpiring over the last week.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Director Kaiser for all the work he did. This is not exactly the way you want to end a marathon race. It was like the last 100 feet were hot coals that he was running over. He was here emailing staff at 9, 10 o'clock at night. So he served you to the very end of his tenure. So thank you, Jerry, for everything you did to transition. This is not what I had planned to take over when the mayor offered it to me, but certainly will rise to the occasion, and the staff has been outstanding. They are tirelessly working on clearing streets. That's their first priority. And I think Travis can maybe get into a little more detail, but I think Travis would prefer that I talk and he can just nod. So if he starts shaking his head the other way, then there's a problem. But the clearing the streets is obviously the first order of business. We've contracted with a firm to assist Travis and his crews in doing that. They will be hauling the debris to the Tuller site so that it can eventually get chipped and then disposed of in accordance with DNR regulations and whatnot. The contractor has a big tub grinder that they will use to grind it all up. But you're going to see a lot of big trucks in the affected neighborhoods for the next few weeks, and then they'll dispose of it as appropriate. Travis has also had his crews out there. Once the streets, the right-of-way is cleared, we fully expect that they'll magically get filled up again, and there'll be at least, a second pass for that. Additionally, then there are things that are still hanging in the trees. Literally, they're called hangers, and that'll have to be addressed as well, because those are imminent dangers. Any light breeze we don't know how precarious any of those are. We're going to methodically go through those because that is, a public safety issue that we cannot take for granted. And then, of course, we're going to be working with the residents to clear their sites, and they're going to have contractors clearing their personal property, and we have facilities at Tuller for people to take that to. The contractors are also going to have to find places to put the debris as well. So that's really what Public Works is primarily doing. We're still working on a lot of street projects, none in the affected areas, but we're still working ahead. Travis, is there anything you want to add to that other than you'd like to get a little shut-eye every once in a while?
Just know that we have the drop site open during the week. It's open until 8 p.m. We extended those hours to try to help people give them more time to actually get the brush out there. This Saturday for sure is 8 to 5. We're going to look at possibly extending that conversation going forward just to give people the opportunity. LGS is here. This is he is the representative for Looks Great Services. He's the one that's working with us on the contract that we hired. He's got 3 trucks on the island currently. I believe they're up to about 8th Street about now. They're kind of working west to east. They're working the north and south streets. And he has a bigger tandem trailer, I guess we call it. Yep. That's so he's kind of hitting those streets over on Congress, like South Park, and eventually we'll be on Bayview to the lake.
Excellent. And just to Travis, you are up every morning here on the weekends and doing all you can. You've always taken my calls, and if it might be something minor and it's
Storm sometimes.
But I want to thank you because you're the boots on the ground that are really kind of coming to the aid of the citizens that need you, and immediately and making and finding ways to say yes. So I just want to just really thank you for the effort you put forth. So. And a reminder, if you lost a garbage can or it was destroyed, I know those are important things. It seems kind of weird, but that's like let's get that stuff away from us. So there's on our website and also on the Facebook page, there's a number to call, and we'll have one of those dropped off for you. So, Director Kading, there you are. Come on down. Director Kading is the director of our our Park and Rec department. Sorry, too many P's.
Two aspects of Parks and Recreation. Well, there's a couple different aspects. Is cemetery untouched, unscathed, a few down trees taken care of. On the recreation side, we've continued to provide recreation opportunities with some minor inconveniences. Doty Park Adventure Playground Camp. That has been not moved, but participants can go to any park site and participate in the program till the end of the season. Pool was shut down for a couple days with chlorine, some issues through the storm and the shutdowns and the power failures, and as well as trees on the fence. And so that's back up and running. Swim lessons will be extended because of that issue. So recreation is taking care of business, trying to provide opportunities in a safe, consistent manner throughout our city. On the park side of things, that's where everything's really happening. Special thanks to Winnebago County, who came in on Tuesday. They started working in some of our parks, helping us clear. Someone voluntarily cleared Fresh Air. I actually do not know who it was, but Fresh Air Park is cleared and it's not emptied, but it's certainly cut up, brushed up, and ready to be picked up. So huge help to whoever did that. Mark mentioned hangars. We're taking a 3-phased approach. Let me go backwards. Phase 1 is take care of everything on the ground. Make sure that area is safe and sound. Number 2, phase 2 is the hangars, and that's really important. Even people that are kind of trained to look at trees miss them once in a while. And I was standing out at Kimberly Point, and I turned around and I looked and I couldn't believe it. There was a hanger that I had missed earlier in the day, and I'd been standing in the exact same position. So it's a bit of a challenge. We just ask residents to be patient with us. We really ask you not to go in throughout the park system, and that would be Doty, Kimberly Point, Riverside. Fresh Air's, I'd have to go back and check for hangers, but it is dangerous. Mark mentioned a slight breeze, a slight wind, just a shift in the tree, and it's going to be on the ground very quickly. Impaling people, impaling the ground, we don't want to see that happen. So we'll move into phase 3 once all the hangers have been removed from the trees. That's a further damage assessment to the tree. Is it going to live? Is it going to die? Do we have an imminent danger that we really need to take that tree down right now without looking any other direction? So beyond phase 3, and I know some folks have started to think about that, and I appreciate that, we will look at what does a tree replacement program take place. Frank and I were chit-chatting about trees. We're not going to walk into Riverside Park and plant 50 trees. That would not be smart. We're going to be a phased-in approach. You want to spread your length of trees over a period of time so that they mature at a different rate and your canopy comes back at a much more natural rate. So it's a long haul. We're not talking a short marathon. This is the ultra marathon approach, and we have to think 5-10 years out when it comes to this sort of planning. So that's what I have for you folks tonight.
Director Kagan, yes. And Director Kagan, I know you're in the midst of all this. You had your own damage, and to continue to help the people of Neenah and work tirelessly to make sure things are taken care of. I just want to thank you for that, and also Trevor Fink, who is, if we all know Trevor, he's the biggest tree guy I know, and to see what was happening. And so he worked to make sure people were safe and making sure those trees were taken care of. So thank you. Director Mock.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Mock. I just want to give you a brief update from the water utility. Thanks to a lot of planning, practice, and quick thinking from our staff and the staff from Menasha Utilities, we're able to get the inner ties opened up well in advance of them losing pressure. And we were able to keep Menasha's system up and running, as well as prevent any boil water situations, which would have happened if their pressure had gotten below 35 psi. Fox Crossing is also currently being fed. Fox Crossing East, half of the water, which normally would come from the city of Menasha, is now being fed through the city of Menasha from Neenah. For anyone that's concerned, it's well within our capacity, and actually our plant is running quite well. We are doing some additional updates to our ERP just to make sure that we're better better prepared for the future, as well as updating our contact lists and making some new friends, of course, which is always nice. We did meet out at the plant with Menasha Utilities staff and had a nice face-to-face. Had some nice discussions with them. Sounds like everything's going extremely well. Again, it all turned out exactly as it had been planned and pleases us very much. We're in the process of hardening some of our infrastructure to make sure that we can ensure satisfactory service to them for however long they need it. Anybody have any questions? Let me know.
There was one constant message about at the EOC from Fox Crossing from Menasha. It was a game changer that they had water, and this would be a very different conversation we did. And so, Director Mock, thank you for all your efforts. Director Barber.
I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge how amazing our staff has been in the aftermath of the storm. Our firefighters, police officers, public works and parks crews, and many others have worked around the clock for the last 10 days to assist residents, affected businesses, and our neighboring communities. In a time of high stress and chaos, our employees rose to the challenge. Despite some key staff being unavailable, Neenah's Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, was organized, productive, and effective in planning recovery efforts and working to communicate crucial information to residents. There has been some confusion in terms of what emergency preparedness training the city has undergone. And I was asked today why it has been 10 years since we've done staff emergency management training. The answer is that it has not been 10 years. The city of Neenah does frequent emergency management training. I think that the confusion comes from the fact that we have a standing committee called the Emergency Government Committee, which includes aldermen and city staff. That committee has not been active recently. However, the city's emergency management team is active and training is occurring regularly. In addition to fire and police doing frequent training, in November of 2025, the county's updated emergency response plan was shared, and all department heads from both Neenah and Menasha attended joint training related to the emergency response plan. That also included workshops on basic emergency management and FEMA response. In February, staff attended FEMA emergency management training, and in April, the city sent 2 non-public safety employees to 3 days of EOC training on communicating with the public during emergencies. While no training can ever fully prepare us for this level of devastation, our dedicated employees went above and beyond to serve their communities, and I'd like to acknowledge them publicly for the great work they have done and continue to do.
Thank you, Director Barber. Assistant Chief Bernice.
Good evening, Council. Please excuse Chief Olson. He is in a military deployment right now, so please excuse his absence. On Monday, during the onset of the storm, emergency phone calls started coming in. Our 911 calls are hubbed at the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office Communication Center, and within hours, they were receiving hundreds and hundreds of 911 calls with people in distress. At the PD, we started seeing an increase in the call volume where we had to man our phone lines with 5 people. We received phone calls from people in need of medical assistance, families looking for welfare checks of their loved ones, to downed trees and power lines. Of course, our first priority was life and welfare of our citizens. We assisted emergency operations with fire rescue and EMS to assist people in the community, transported people to Theta Care, and made sure our citizens were top priority. Once there, our mission changed to basically secondary missions of traffic control, increased security awareness, and assisting other departments for the recovery operations. Right now, our number one priority is scams. We have a lot of people coming from out of the area, targeting our elderly community. We want to make sure that word is out to be mindful, take your time, do your checks, and move forward accordingly. One thing I want to mention is with any critical incident, either man-made or natural, it's not like the movies. You don't have a full picture of what's going on there at your screenshot or your screen within minutes. It's chaotic. And basically it's a credit to the emergency operators like Chief Tesh here. It's almost like taking a puzzle, giving it to somebody in a bag, not having the instructions, and half those pieces of the puzzle are missing. So I truly want to commend the emergency operators, the city and county staff and operators. So thank you.
Peter, did you want to say a few words about any with the infrastructure, IT, or anything, or IS? Excuse me. Just want to make sure as far as communications and.
Thank you. I don't have a whole lot to report from this situation. We did have one stretch of fiber that was damaged between Fire Station 35 and 36, taking 36 offline. We do have some equipment in there right now so that they're up and running. We've got some cellular devices they've been working off of. So we don't have a whole lot at this time. We'll be looking to repair that fiber. I believe that's Monash Utilities' own fiber. So once that's repaired, we'll be back up to fully running. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Along that lines, just Spectrum has recently deployed some of the mobile towers along the island and the areas that were affected that were having that. So I want to appreciate that for, I know there were some issues of trying to get communication back and forth. But speaking of communication, we've been talking about introducing our communication and community outreach specialist, Andy Rettig. He's the one behind a lot of the communication that you've been receiving through our Facebook posts. He's been working in the EOC, really just trying to make sure that any information that you need, we're getting out into those two vehicles as far as our Facebook and also our website. So Andy, why don't you come on up and give us a state of where you're at and probably introduce yourself to people that maybe just see your posts.
Sure. Andy Rettig, I'm the communications specialist for Neenah, and kind of a busy way to get started with things. I've been here about a month. So as far as what we've been up to with storm-related things, Neenah's been participating in the Winnebago County Emergency Operations Center, and we've been using information from there and then also providing information to the other communities through that. We've been collaborating with the neighboring municipalities to share information about available resources for Neenah residents. And as far as how we've been communicating as a city, we have, as was mentioned, a very active Facebook page. In fact, just this week, we've gained 450 followers on that. Our engagement is up 402% over the last 30 days, and our most viewed posts have been storm-related. So we're reaching people through that. We've also provided video updates through our Facebook and also through YouTube. And then website updates, media releases for critical information through the news media. And then we also distributed a paper leaflet with resources for residents at Doty Island. That was last Friday with the help of city staff for that. And then also we've been managing media relations with our local news outlets. So moving forward, we look to continue our collaboration with the county and with our neighboring communities on storm recovery. And we look to highlight what's happening in our city departments and in the community by building our social media presence, expanding video content to engage our residents, and also producing print materials to reach residents through that. So any questions or?
Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. I'd be remiss not to mention Clerk Nagel and Deputy Clerk Jackie that they're the front lines here at the office, all while us getting ready for our election and our early voting, and doing the best to manage the phone calls that come in. So, Clerk Nagel, anything on the election or anything you'd like to share with that?
We are on schedule for the election. None of our polling locations were damaged. So you go to your regular polling location on Tuesday. We are here for in-person voting tomorrow and Friday from 7:30 to 5.
Thank you, Clerk Nagel. So I just, before we start the meeting, the one thing that keeps coming to my mind, and as I prayed often about the people here and what was happening, is the word grace. Oftentimes things will pop up in my head, and really it was grace for me. Not being here was really hard. But then also I started feeling that I had to give grace to others that are hurting and maybe frustrated with us, maybe not fast enough. And I just know people are trying. I know we were at Kathy's white tent, and you saw people, and I saw people grabbing things, and I'm like, I know they need this, and let's give them grace. Let's give people grace that if they're lash out at maybe we didn't get back to them, my voicemails were full. Where were you? What were you doing? And I know people are hurting, and we're going to get through this. We have an amazing staff. We have a caring community, and every single one of these people have been putting countless hours in. And I know our community is helping one another. And we were fortunate that the damage wasn't as extensive. And I shared with Mayor Hammond that, we're the twin cities, we're the sister cities. We're going to be there for you guys and for Fox Crossing. And it's not tomorrow, it's not next month, it's for years to come. So give people grace and understand that we're not sure what's going on in their lives and how this impacted them. But it really helps a lot, and it doesn't allow me to get upset or angry because of something I perceive. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I think it's a good lesson in a time like this. So, all right. All right, and like anything else, the city's a business, and so there's a lot of other things that have been going on, and I want to give dedication to you guys for the staff to really just saying, look, there's things that have to take care of. We're not losing sight of the things that need the most right now, but we want to make sure those other things don't become large issues. So on to our packed agenda. So I would introduce a motion, and we're going to do roll call votes, folks. Just we're running into a situation, or voice votes. Yep. So I'd I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of July 15th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Alderman Newman, and the second by Alderman Paulna. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Seeing none. Moving into public hearings. Special use permit number 2-26 Pit Stop Repair Shop LLC to establish an automobile sales use property located at 896 South Commercial Street, Neenah, Wisconsin. And so that hearing is, any, Director Nyforth, any comments on that at all? Or is there anyone here that would want to start that for the public hearing?
Sure.
Sorry.
No, certainly. If there's anybody that would want to speak about it, we're here to answer any questions. Otherwise, per our zoning ordinance, a special use permit is required for this type of use in our commercial district. So staff has worked with the applicant quite a bit. Deputy Director Schmidt is also here if there's any specific questions that anybody may have.
All right. Anyone here for that hearing? Anyone here for the hearing? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Moving on to ordinance 2026-12, zoning code amendment to section 26-3 of the municipal code of the city of Neenah related to the definition of family daycare homes. All right, we'll open that hearing up. Anyone here to speak upon that? Anyone here to speak upon that ordinance? Okay, last call. We will close that. All right. Moving on to Plan Commission meeting of July 28th, 2026. Alderman Newman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. The Planning Commission on July 28th, minutes can be found on the website. The commission recommends the Common Council approve the special use permit 2-26 Pit Stop Repair Shop LLC to establish an automobile sales use on the property located at 896 South Commercial Street in Neenah, Wisconsin, subject to the conditions of the special use approval letter, and I so move.
There's been a motion by Alderman Newman, and there's a second by Alderman Paulna. Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Next one, Alderman Newman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Plan Commission recommends the Common Council approve ordinance number 2026-12, amending the definition of family daycare home to allow care for up to 12 children, consistent with Wisconsin Statute 66.1017. And I so move.
Second.
Motion was made by Alderman Newman, second by Alderman Paulnow. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, clearly passes. Moving on to public forum. Speakers must state their name and residential address and are allowed 5 minutes to speak on any topic. So feel free, if anyone wishes to speak, come on up.
I'm a little slow moving. I'm not going to speak more than 5 minutes. Kathy Boyette, 807 Nicolay Boulevard, Neenah. We're the little white tent. We started out because I came home from the hospital and there was nothing. And I'm going to be kind, but the city of Neenah didn't do anything for us. We were the emergent setup for Doty Island, Neenah and Menasha. We fed 200 to 300 people a day, 3 hot meals, all with donations coming from businesses and other residents that wanted to help. And everybody that came for supplies and meals wanted to know where the city was. And I got a lot of flack because Flo's out of this country and Brian was on vacation. And I went to bat for you guys because you can't plan these things. Things happen and life goes on, and I tried to sing your praises, and you know that just wasn't right. It wasn't good criticism, and I didn't agree with it. But after the word got out, and Brian, you came and visited me personally, and we chatted, I saw Bill Paulnow go to the grocery store and buy meat and come to my house and cook it. I saw Brian cutting tree limbs for my neighbors. I didn't see any one of you. Tammy called me and Flo called me. But where was Mark Ellis? That's his district. He can get on Facebook and he can bully people that don't have the same opinion as him. But where was Mark Ellis during this disaster in his neighborhood? He's our representative. And when I took an oath, and I was on this council for almost 10 years, I helped people in District 3. I helped people in District 2 with respect to checking with the other aldermen and making sure that it was okay for me to help. But where were our representatives? We elected you, and you took an oath for the betterment of the city. Neenah Doty Island is the city, and we felt like we were forgotten. I have a dozen messages that I won't read, but the gist of the messages are, why were we forgotten? And I know you're going to work better and you're going to do better, but I would really like to meet with you folks individually or in a group and share with you our experience out there on Doty Island and how you can better prepare for the future. Mayor Hammond, we helped his community as well. Doty Island is Doty Island. It wasn't Neenah and Menasha. We did everything we could for everyone, and we shut down last night because we were emergency. We are not recovery, and we gave recovery to the churches and the United Way and the people that do that and do it well. And I just wanted to come here tonight and let you know that there are a lot of people that are very disappointed and would like to know why we feel that we were forgotten, we slipped through the cracks, whatever. Because there was nothing set up for us other than the dumpsters, which we greatly appreciate, and the fact that somebody came out from the city and helped locate some garbage cans. But where were you all? We're just heartbroken that we feel, honestly, there's so many of us, we feel like we were left out. And so I just wanted you to know, because I don't know if anybody has told you, that there's a big part of the island that couldn't get into Menasha because we had Neenah IDs. And when Menasha shut down their roads and they said you can't come in because you got to have a Menasha ID, that left us literally on an island and we couldn't get anywhere. I had mothers without a car, tree on it, the husband took it to work, whatever. With children under the age of 5, they couldn't walk 10 blocks to the Luigi's to get a hot pizza. They couldn't, they came to me in wagons and strollers and loaded up hot meals and cases of water. There was nothing else. So I wanted to share that with you, and I would really like for you to reach out to me and let's organize something so we can do better next time. But I want to thank Brian. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank Tammy for calling and checking in on us. Bill, obviously, for all your help. Brian, for your help. But the rest of you, I'm disappointed. I worked with many of you for years, and I don't get it. I don't get it. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Any other people would like to speak in the open forum? Yep.
George Van Schindel, Neenah Menasha Firefighters, 125 East Columbian Avenue, Neenah. We just wanted to say thank you to the councils, the mayors, our chiefs, the emergency operations staffs, the county executives, and the thousands of volunteers that showed up to assist Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue in our efforts and our continued work in helping our cities after this terrible tornado that hit Neenah and Menasha and the surrounding communities last week. Without the support of our MABUS program that we use, the search and rescue efforts would have been almost impossible, certainly not attainable in the specific timeline in which we worked. Neenah Menasha firefighters, along with hundreds of additional firefighters from the state of Wisconsin, managed to perform an initial search and then followed up with a secondary search of every residence within the affected areas of Neenah and Menasha in a very short time period because of these searches. In no doubt, in my mind, contributed to the safety of the residents within our communities. We just want to thank you for your continued support of Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue, and just know that we are here to assist in any way that we can, continuing the long road to recovery, making sure the residents within our cities remain safe and are able to clean up, rebuild, and come back stronger than ever. Thank you for all you do for us.
Good evening. Scott Becker, 1061 Green Acres Lane. I've seen a lot of great things in this community in the past week, and I've also heard a lot of things that we can do better. So I would propose that we create an ad hoc committee for recovery and disaster preparation. It's something that we've done actually in this community during World War II. This would be an opportunity for citizen members, a lot of the great things, see what we can improve from everything from communications to, like, for example, having Public Works have a mutual aid pack, which basically is required in Illinois, and we can do that in Wisconsin. How can we do a strategic communication plan? How can we get to residents? How can we make Neenah better? Because this community is going to be dealing with this for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line. So we've done a lot of great things. Let's figure out a way to make Neenah even better and tap into a lot of the great things that we've seen, because we need to thank the residents who stepped up to help their friends and neighbors and people they've never met to get food, lodging, and so many things that really make this community great. Thank you.
Katie McCowan, 207 Cedar Street, Neenah. I'm a little disappointed in some of you. Again, Bill Polnow was out there, Brian was out there. I know you were on vacation, Mr. Mayor, so I saw when you came back and you jumped in and you were doing everything you could. Neenah is my pride and joy. If you are friends with me on Facebook, anything like that, I pour my heart into this community. And I would think a lot of you would do the same, seeing as you represent us as, our council members. I went out there with Brian. I helped Brian move trees. We cut things. We just talked to people. And the amount of people who were like, where is the information? Why are we not seeing other people? Why is Mark Ellis not out here? He's our council member for our district. Nobody was there besides that man and that man helping us. And our city services did a fantastic job with everything they did, but I feel like the communication getting out, especially to a lot of the older people who I was able to speak to, they had no idea about things. They don't have social media. My neighbor across the street, she doesn't have social media. I was her way of knowing what was happening and what you guys were updating us. Not a lot of people are fortunate enough to have people like me who talk to their neighbors and do that stuff. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Any other people?
Mark Gerke, 1103 Hewitt. I've been a resident there for 2 years, and it's an awesome place to live, and I've been a lifelong Fox Cities resident. And I met Kathy because of the Little White Tent, and because it was the first real place that I knew that I could go and connect with the neighborhood to know what was actually going on. I work in mutual aid, very grassroots, and I called in my friends, and she knows the first day, and they don't live here. A lot of them are in Oshkosh. And that made a difference in the beginning, and it helped her out, and our neighbors did that. So everything that Kathy said, I really appreciate it, and I got to meet some new neighbors, and I think we could do better. Thank you.
Any other open forum topics?
Good evening, Austin Hammond, 366 Nicolay Boulevard, Mayor for the City of Menasha. Good evening, City of Neenah, Common Council, Mayor, City of Neenah staff. I just wanted to come here this evening and express my gratitude to all of you. Menasha, Village of Fox Crossing, you, Town of Neenah, City of Appleton. This last week was one of its darkest moments in its histories, and I just want you to know how incredibly grateful I am for the partnership and the connectiveness that we have with you, whether it was the interconnect from City of Neenah Water to make sure our residents could continue to have safe drinking water, or whether it was the combined effort of having a joint fire department to make sure we were able to get to our residents as quickly as possible. I also want to extend a huge thank you and share my gratitude to Council President Dan Steiner, who was acting mayor. Mayor Borchardt was out. You can't plan these things, and I just want you to know Dan did an exceptional job, and it was a joy to get to work with him. But proud of the Fox Cities and proud of Neenah, proud of the City of Menasha. There's a long, long road to recovery ahead of all of us, but we can do it together, and even in dark moments, there is hope, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other comments for open forum? I'll just leave it at this too. There is a town hall tomorrow at 4 o'clock, 4 to 6 at the Menasha High School. So if you are so inclined, there'll be representatives from each of the communities in the county to have a frequent FAQ session, really answer some questions in person. So that'll begin at 4 o'clock and run to 6 o'clock. So there'll be representatives there if there's any questions you might have. So thank you for everyone that spoke. Moving on to Mayor's Council consideration of public forum issues. Any council member wish to speak?
Mayor.
Alderman Ellis.
Thank you. I was involved. I had no phone. I had no power. I'm grateful, Kathy, for what you and your folks did. I had no idea. No one could reach out to me. I could not reach out to anybody. I tried to get down to that half of the island quite a few times. You couldn't because of the storm. I was helping the neighbors on my side, which had issues and people that they could call, but I had nobody to reach out to, nor did I know that you were doing that. So and I don't want to get snarky in such a good situation because you all did so good things, but to take a cheap shot at me or anybody else on the council, shame on you. I'm done, Mayor.
Any further discussions or comments? Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to speak out as well. Doty Island was affected, and I appreciate all that Kathy did. However, there were other districts that were affected as well. I worked a lot in the 2nd District and many of our council members have volunteered at the city garage. So you may not have seen us, but we were out in the community doing a lot of things, but not in your particular area. My son came in and helped over by the church down on the end of Nicolay, and he's part of my family. And you don't know him, but he was there, and I brought him in because there was no place to park. And I came and picked him up when he was done because there was no place to park. But I think our community and our council did pull together. Our newest alderman, Mark Newman's son, is located in Menasha, very close to where there was a huge amount of damage. His garage fell on his truck, has a huge amount of damage, and Mark was over there helping in that area. So just because we aren't maybe visible, it's not that we're not doing something. I think everybody really, really tried to help out where they could in their areas, in their communities. And, you know, we had families and friends that we helped out. And I think the city of Neenah pulled together so well to come together as a community to help. And I'm very proud of all of the efforts of everyone here. So thank you.
Any other discussions or comments? And I guess I'll end with this, is grace. You know, the comments that were made were directed at people, and you didn't know what they were doing. You didn't know what they were dealing with. Have grace, folks. This is going to take a lot. Pause before you say things, because you may be saying something to somebody that's hurting, and you have no idea how. So if you can extend that grace, it will go a long way, and know that people are doing the best they can in a situation no one asked for. So, all right. Thank you. Moving on to consent agenda, none. Reports from standing committees. Moving on to the Public Service and Safety, there is no meeting. So moving on to the Special Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of August 5th. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out from the Special Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of August 5th, 2026. Item number 1, consideration of committee recommendation for the Common Council to retitle the traffic maintenance worker position as traffic technician and to place the position in grade 9 of the city's salary plan, and I so move.
It's been a motion by Alderman Erickson.
Second.
Second by Alderman Paulno. We'll just have you do seconds from now on to make it easier. All right. Any discussion? Yes, Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Barber, I was curious, this, in regard to this position, because of the actual practicality of not having a traffic engineer, as I understand it, we've moved duties that a traffic engineer would typically handle to this position. Is that correct, the traffic technician?
It is correct, yes.
So what is the timeline to get a definitive path on the traffic engineer? I mean, because we're going on 2 years now, and I've heard, rescoping the position, different thoughts, different, ways of restructuring. So when will we have a definitive answer on that?
The plan is to wait until we have a new Public Works Director
Okay.
to define that definition. We also have Interim Director Mark Roloff really looking into some things within the department to make some recommendations as well based on what he sees there. But it didn't feel fair. There are a number of ways we can go with this opening. It can be a civil engineer, it can be an engineering tech, it could be a deputy director, it could be a traffic engineer. So for us as a group to make that decision for a new director seems premature. So we did pull it from advertising.
Okay. My question, I guess, practicality, since we haven't had it in 2 years, do we need that position?
That's also got to be
Okay.
evaluated.
That's one of the.
We definitely need, and I'll share that I had a conversation when working with Public Works, and they've been doubling down on the loads and working more than at yes, we do need it. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
They looked at me and they wanted to strangle me. Let's put it that
Okay.
way. So yes, they need
Okay.
help.
It's just going to be obviously a rescoped position because you're taking workload off of that position and putting.
Correct.
So the very definition, at the least you're changing the definition of that position by taking some of the workload off to some other position, correct?
It could become simply a civil engineer, which would open, as you know, we posted a traffic engineer for a very long time. It's a specialized position. A civil engineer is an easier position to recruit for.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Alderman Defferty, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. Seeing that,
if the position is needed, are we open to the idea of actually maybe outsourcing that role to various firms then? Is that something that we could take a look at in our CIP, or maybe not CIP, but for our budget?
Currently, right now, again, we're holding off on that, but we are, before Director Kaiser left, we had explored some of those options. Might be partnering with Menasha or partnering in different ways with different people. So I'm not going to make any moves with that position because of the, as far as the need for that right now until the director steps in and is able to make some decisions, and we're going to go through those things.
Okay, I definitely think I think it's an option worth exploring, just so that we can exhaust all of that. Just to say that we've looked at it. I know obviously we have to wait until we have a permanent public works director for something like that, but definitely something that I think that we should look at, so that we know that we examine this and see if we can have provide a cost savings for the people.
Yep, in the plans. So, okay. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
Item number 2, consider committee recommendation for the Common Council to approve entering into a service contract with Keeper for an enterprise password management system at a cost not to exceed $16,000, with funding primarily coming from Information Systems Capital Equipment budget. And I so move.
Second.
There's been a motion by Alderman Erickson, a seconded by Alderman Ellis. Any discussion? Alderman Paul now.
Mr. Schrader, I just had a question because in regard to I always look at the IAS capital bucket of money. There's like I don't know if it's five, I can't remember exactly the amount, but it seems kind of a ever-changing item. It's not a typical capital with a long list of things, because like this looks like a new kind of entity thing that was needed based on, I don't even murder the acronyms, but something, a different level of governance mandating we do something else. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
With that being said, how exactly do you determine capital? Because I've always wondered that, and it's kind of like a voodoo science with software and hardware, and there's stuff that comes up. So how do you determine that?
We do have a kind of pool bucket, I guess you could call it, of where most of our software licensing comes out of. And we evaluate that every year, forecast out what increases might look like, and then we do add in to that for new systems like this. We just felt it was easier to budget for it all together versus having it all piecemeal. It gives us a little bit more flexibility when renewals come in and things need to shift because we don't have enough to cover maybe a new system we were looking at for that year.
So there's like kind of a quasi-hard number, and then there's like a overage kind of thing that it seems like a very hard number trying to determine on a year-to-year basis.
It is. I mean, we have roughly 60 different pieces of software we budget for in that one account. So the shift in the price for one of those can affect all the other ones as well.
Because when you put that together, you probably weren't even, this wasn't on your radar, probably?
This is something I had inherited from previous director that we've just kind of maintained that way as I took over. So, and added to as we've brought in new systems.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
Item number 3, consider committee recommendation for the Common Council to approve the purchase of a new Palo Alto firewall devices and services from Heartland Business Systems at a cost of $57,717.59, with funding coming from Information Systems Capital Equipment budget. And I so move.
Second.
There's been a motion by Alderman Erickson and a second by Alderman Newman. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
Item number 4, consider committee recommendation for the Common Council to approve the Alta Alley license agreement with Future Neenah, Inc. and Alta Resources, and I so move.
Second.
There's been a motion by Alderman Erickson, a second by Alderman Ellis. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. All right.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Moving on to the Neenah Menasha Fire and Rescue Joint Personnel Committee, no report there. Moving on to the Plan Commission meeting of July 21st, no report there. Moving on to the Board of Public Works meeting, August 5th. Vice Chairman Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor, for the promotion. Never mind. Committee recommends to the council to award the bid for Myron Construction to complete the restoration of the Kimberly Point Lighthouse per specifications for the base bid of the amount of $328,945. Alternative 1 in the amount of $53,545, brick tuck pointing in the amount of $23.50 per square foot, and brick repair in the amount of $28.75 per square foot, and I would so move.
There's been a motion by Alderman Ellis,
Second.
second by Alderman Newman. Director Kading, would you mind? I think it's pretty cool, and it might just be kind of neat to get on the record here as far as what we're going to be doing with this, and seeing though that that lighthouse is still standing after all that they went through, it might be good to discuss.
Our fundraising campaign was be a beacon keeper, and the morning after the event, I got to see a picture of the lighthouse still standing amongst all the trees falling. That was a pretty cool moment. I think what's really cool, Mayor Borchard's made comments about we still got business to do here in the city. And we can't just stand still. And I think this is probably one of those projects that says we got business to do here in the city. And the idea was started about 1.5 years ago. We've been assessing the building. There's dry rot in the tower. The bathroom facilities are well past their time. And so it's time to renovate, restore, and bring the lighthouse back to its days of glory. And that's what we'll be doing. It'll be interior work, which bathroom restorations, bringing the upstairs or the column or the main portion of the lighthouse back up to current codes, including electrical needs, fiber optic needs, as well as the tower itself and the lighthouse itself. Exterior-wise, it's really going to look a lot the same. I mean, you're not going to see a whole bunch of different changes. That's mostly due to the fact that we are working with the Wisconsin Historical Society, which is required on a building that's found on that registry. We had wanted to do and switch to some materials that were a little bit more self-sustaining or long-term sustaining, and they said, you know what, we're going to keep the character of the lighthouse as it is, so you still need to put asphalt shingles back on it. So we'll be doing that. We'll see some upgraded lighting, obviously switching to lighting, LED lighting, a little more cost efficiency and long-termness. So it's really a good restoration and reclaim of the lighthouse moving forward. Plan is to move very quickly. Myron Construction was the low bidder. Our friends over there are really excited about this project and want to get moving September 1st, and they want to be completed by Thanksgiving. Not a whole lot of time. We'll see how we do. But we're very excited to kick the project off the ground. We did postpone National Lighthouse Day, which is supposed to be this Friday. We'll probably push that out a couple weeks and then do it then, celebrate the groundbreaking, and then move forward with a ribbon cutting in May as a celebration to open it back up.
Thanks for all your work on that, Director Kading, and thanks to all that donated and helped us get through that. Alderman Palmo, sorry. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple questions. So this amount, it's $328,945, and that's plus alternative 1? Is that how I'm reading this?
Correct. Director Kading, I'll let you.
Because this doesn't give it to.
No, the 328, you have to go back to the memo that was submitted to the council.
Okay.
Have that before you. You can back up there.
Yeah, why don't you do that so we can get you on record?
So the base bid is for 328. You have the alternative number 1 for burnished block at 53,000. The tuck pointing at an estimate, the square footage is 2,350. Estimated cost from Myron is $12,572. Brick repair, $28.75 per square foot. Again, that's estimated at $3,000 for an estimated total of $398,138.75.
Okay.
That's an estimated cost right now based upon there's some things we just don't know.
Okay, that's excellent. And then there was discussion at Board of Public Works. I didn't think I heard an answer. There was how much was fundraised, and then how much was borrowed, or has that money been borrowed already?
I'll answer the fundraising question. I'll turn to Andy to ask, because we're in that borrowing cycle right now as we speak, but $300,000 was raised for this project.
Okay.
And I think that Director Rasmussen estimated 280,000 was donated at the time we initiated the borrowing.
Okay.
So the difference between the budget and that estimate is what was borrowed.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, passes. All right. Thank you, Vice Chairman Ellis, for your report. Moving on to the report of the Community Development Authority, meeting of August 25th. Director Nyforth.
The Community Development Authority just met this past Monday. We are working on our bylaws, cleaning up some items in there. We looked at our budget for this year coming up, and then also just talked about some current projects going on in our community and some of the goals that we have. So I think that, the group really is enjoying hearing about all the projects going on and their involvement and input. Staff greatly appreciates.
Awesome. And then just a note of the recommendation that we have right there.
Sure.
Would you mind doing that one?
Sure. The item we have for consideration tonight is a parking lot lease agreement located at 110 West Cecil Street, which the CDA owns. It's between the CDA and Pizza Parlor, Inc., also known as Cranky Pat's Pizzeria. This is something that we have been working on for a long time with the owner of Cranky Pat's. One of the big issues that really dragged it out a long time was the DNR. There was litigation that we were waiting on, and then the DNR did transfer the property to the CDA. So we are in a position now where we can enter into a parking lot lease agreement. So Mr. Earl from Cranky Pat's and his customers can utilize that parking lot, which is the former Donaldson's Dry Cleaners. There was a tenant in that building. So the site is heavily contaminated, and really the best use for it is a parking lot to cap it. So we will be working with Mr. Earl and his team on making sure that the site is capped that his customers can utilize. So hopefully it's really a win-win for our community.
I'll entertain a motion to.
So move.
Is there a
Second.
motion and a second? Okay. Ellis and Patrick. All right. Yes.
I think we should, because Director Nyforth, maybe you can give a little history, or maybe Attorney Rashid, that we had approved something previously in regard to this lease, but it was subject to the terms. Is that correct? If I remember correct?
The CDA approved something last year, and then we were kind of waiting until we actually had ownership of the property to bring it forward to council for consideration. So that's, unless there was something before my time.
I
that I'm not
believe
aware
it
of.
went through Finance and Personnel, but maybe I'm incorrect on that. I thought the
I'd have
preliminary
to look
last
back.
year.
Okay.
Alderman Defferding.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm guessing that's probably, so it is the DNR that was like the main factor of why this took so long to.
Actually, it was probably more the Department of Justice, because there was some litigation with the owner of that property.
Okay.
It was really, the DNR was kind of out of it. It was the Department of Justice.
Okay, all right. That was my question, because it looked like it was, this from 2025. So I just wanted to know what, why there was such a lag there.
Right,
So,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any further discussion?
I just have a quick question. If they are going to be acquiring the parking lot, are they also required to maintain the terrace?
So they're entering into a lease, so they're not acquiring it.
Okay.
So with the reconstruction, obviously there were some changes in the terrace areas, but in the packet, I did put in a site plan that staff and Mr. Earl from Cranky Pat's worked on together to put, we can't really put anything in the ground there on the contaminated site, but we talked about putting maybe some planters just to soften it up and make it look a little bit nicer along that busy corridor.
And maintaining,
Yep, that is part of the agreement.
thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Report from the regular park committee. What?
Nothing.
Mr. Earl, are you excited? It's about time, right? Awesome. Wonderful. All right. Report out from the regular Park Commission of July 16th. Alderman Weber.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll report out on a couple of different Park and Rec Commission meetings. First of all, before the normal Park and Rec Commission meeting on July 16th, we had a special meeting in which we had an overview of the Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, or CORP as we call it. The GRAFE team gave us an overview of the survey that was taken, you know, from the community and such. Kind of talked about the next steps with the CORP and things like that. So that was a good meeting for the commission to get to understand what was going on there. Then we had our regular commission meeting, and the minutes will be posted on the city website. Nothing of note for the council. And then on July 30th, we had another special Park and Rec Commission meeting, specific to have an update from the Edgewater Resources team. Two members were online and gave us an overview of the Kimberly Point shoreline protection and revetment options that are in front of us. So we went through a lot of the scenarios, the different potential recommendations of how to, go forward with the protection of the shoreline, the different phases and such, and then the commission gave some recommendations and some thoughts back to the Edgewater folks, and then they took that then back now for the next steps there. So there was no action taken, but it just was another good update for the commission to understand the depth, and there's a lot that goes behind that you don't think about. So, and that concludes my reports.
Thank you for your report, Alderman Weber. Moving on to our first official report from Alderman Newman and the Committee of Aging.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We met on July 16th and are working on our School for Seniors. That will happen early in October. That's an annual event partnered with Lakeland University. And I'm also pleased to report to have been assigned to this committee. Committee members are engaged and excited, and we hope you'll be hearing a lot more from us going forward. And that's my report.
Thank you for your report. Moving on to council directives. Seeing no council directives, is there any council directives?
You missed petitions.
Sorry. Are there any petitions?
There's no petitions.
Oh, perfect. That's why I missed it. Awesome. Any unfinished business? There's no unfinished business. Moving on to any new business or anything that legally come before the council. Okay. Seeing none. Pursuant, the Common Council may convene into a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.851E for the purpose of deliberating and negotiating the purchase of public properties and investment of public funds and conducting the other specified public businesses as competitive or bargaining reasons required closed session for properties of 135 Millview Drive and the west side of the 1300 block of South Commercial Street. Can I get a motion to?
So move.
There's been a motion
Second.
to enter into closed session and a seconded by whom? Alderman Newman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now moving into closed session, so if you could please clear the.
The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.